Welcome back to NutriNerd RX, where science meets realistic weight loss. And today, I'll share 3 proven strategies to help you overcome cravings and feel in control of your diet. These aren't just some random tips. They actually work together to tackle cravings from 3 unique angles, with the third one being the most important. First, we're going to reduce how often cravings happen. Then we're going to lessen the intensity of cravings when they do happen. And finally, we're going to learn how to satisfy certain cravings while still meeting our health goals. Just imagine feeling truly in control of your cravings. Do this and you'll get there. And by the end of the video, I'm going to give you an action plan to start implementing these tips right away. Tip number 1, reduce how often cravings happen by removing food triggers. Cravings are triggered by cues, like sights, smells, or even routines and behaviors. The more triggers you encounter, whether it's the same one over and over, or just a lot of different ones, the more cravings you're going to feel. Visual cues are a big one. For example, if you keep snacks on the counter, every time you see them, your brain lights up with dopamine, giving you a motivational push to eat it. These mental pushes stack, meaning ignoring 2, 3, or 4 during the day may feel fine, but 20, 30, or even 50, which is realistic for some homes, that's a lot, and it's a number we can get under control. It's unrealistic to try and eliminate all food triggers, but we can and should reduce the big ones. To do this, you need to understand that not all foods are craved equally. I categorize them into 2 buckets, my out-of-sight foods and out-of-house foods. My out-of-sight foods are things like cookies and chips. If I see it, I'm tempted, but on a high shelf or in the back of a cupboard, I'm fine. One of my out-of-house foods is candy. I know if I bring that in, I'm going to eat it relatively quickly. It is less stressful for me to keep it out of the house than in the house and fighting a mental battle every day. Lightening your food environment reduces cravings and frees up more mental effort during your day for other things that are more important to you. You don't have to live in a bubble. Just remove the most exhausting ones. Now, tip number 2, reduce the intensity of your cravings by reducing your hunger. Hunger and cravings are not the same, although they influence each other. Your brain's satiety signals feed into your reward pathway, and when hunger is high, it amplifies your cravings, further driving you to feel motivated to eat calorie-dense, highly rewarding foods. From a biological perspective, it makes a lot of sense since we used to live in a food-scarce environment. When hunger's high, you need to feel more motivated to go out and find food. So, we kill hunger by focusing on 3 simple things for our meals. The weight of the meal, its protein content, and fiber content. These 3 things bring unique filling effects to our diet, and as a bonus, replace the need for calories. For a more in-depth explanation, watch this video. As you apply this to your diet in general, it will be more filling, you will feel less hungry, and the cravings you do get will be less intense. You will notice that as you apply tip number 2, your out-of-house and out-of-sight foods will improve. Cookies and chocolate used to be an out-of-house food for me, but now that my diet is so much more filling overall, they do just fine being out-of-sight foods. So far, we've mostly talked about restriction, and we as humans hate restriction. It makes us feel out of control, anxious, and frustrated. It triggers a mental pushback that makes sticking to new behaviors hard. To truly tackle cravings, we need to reduce that sense of restriction. And to do so, let's talk about tip number 3. We create Cravecrafted snacks. These are snacks that are specifically meant to satisfy cravings while still aligning with our health goals. A Cravecrafted snack is not replacing chips or ice cream with celery or carrots. I'm talking real, specific foods that you can go to when a craving hits and satisfy it. To do this, start by identifying what types of flavors and textures you crave, like sweet, salty, or crunchy. Then, find alternatives that match those textures and flavors but still fill you up. Use the criteria from tip number 2 as a guide. There are so many resources online showcasing creative versions of snacks and meals that do this. I create them myself. Here's my version of mac and cheese that's only 425 calories for this entire bowl, but crushes the tip 2 criteria. It's a perfect dish to satisfy savory cravings. If you want to see how I did it, watch this video. For more ideas, go check out my recipe channel for a whole host of things to try. But don't stop at my content. Search and find other recipe channels to discover the Cravecrafted snacks that will work for your cravings. So, here's your action list to get started. To reduce the number of cravings, start in your home and reduce the number of food triggers. Identify the items that should be out of house or just out of sight. Start with the ones that don't cause as much mental friction and go from there. Next, to reduce your craving intensity, once a week using this criteria, make 1 or 2 of your regular meals or snacks more filling, slowly reducing how hungry you feel each day as a whole, which will reduce craving intensity. And as a bonus, the meal will naturally contain less calories. And it doesn't have to be a Cravecrafted snack or meal, just a meal in general. Once your diet is more filling, revisit tip number 1. There are likely out-of-house foods that can become out of sight, and so on. Finally, prevent that feeling of restriction. Once a week, find and create a Cravecrafted meal or snack to satisfy cravings from a specific food item or situation. My Cravecrafted snacks all use the criteria from tip number 2 to ensure they are lower in calories but very filling. Individually, these are useful, but you put them together and you stack their effects, hitting cravings from multiple angles. Try these out and let me know how it goes. If you found this helpful, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe for more science-based tips. Let me know in the comments what you struggled with, and I'd love to help. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.